Alex, always a pleasure to have
Tim.
you on. How are you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. I have a few projects I'm working on, and it's springtime, which means we are all coming out of our hives and getting back to life, I guess.
Is the ground thawed, or you just still have a snow bait?
It's dry.
Mm,
It is so dry.
really?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's amazing. I did not anticipate that because
Neither did I, to be honest.
Green Bay got like 2.5 feet like a week ago. Not that I'm there, but just because of Kevin. I'm like looking. I look at different areas of the country, and it's like they get that late season, early spring. They call it farmer's fertilizer. Like puts nitrogen in the soil, that kind of thing. But dude, no thank. I mean, that's the whole reason I moved out of New England. I had a couple of really, really bad snowstorms. I'm like, just like,
it's not for humans.
No,
we're not made for that. It's bad. It makes me sad every time. We had some snow like 2 days ago, but it was just like some slushy, non-sticking stuff that So that was fine. It washes off the brownness. There's a lot of brownness in this country right now.
Yeah.
You can see it on my car.
Yeah, I'm sure the trees have yet to bud, right? You're somewhere in between.
No, yeah.
You're in between that zone. It's not, the temperature's not high enough yet for that.
They're still doing like everyone else. And it's a fantastic season. It's even better than summer, to be honest, because it's like you can see the end, and it's like the air is fresher and everything's just waking up, kind of. No bugs.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I fucking love it.
So offline, you just admitted to me that you've been on a hiatus. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's just been like a kind of a threshold getting down here, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been down here, but I've been doing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just for fun and exercise, I guess. And then I got an email from a guy who wanted a song that sounded kind of fun to make. So I did, and I just sent him like a 20-second draft just to know if I was on the right track. He was like, "Oh my God, this is a masterpiece." I was like, "Oh, fun. People still like what I do." So, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, objectively, it wasn't. But I guess he's really fond of the style that I do. Yeah, it's good to know that people are enjoying it still.
Well, dude, I think it comes down to that whole we don't get to determine what people like thing.
It's hard.
And after doing 275 tracks I did last year,
yep.
Objectivity out the window. So, my hiatus was about 3 months. And then late February, early March is when I started laying down some new tracks and working on some of the old stuff and like refining things. And so here and there, I'm just kind of gradually coming into it. I don't ever want this to feel like a job, so to speak. I want to be inspired as much as possible, unless I'm under the gun with a project. But typically it comes from my catalog, those projects, you know what I mean? And I usually push the catalog first because there's such a volume of work there that oftentimes, 99% of the time, that can solve a problem that somebody has. You know what I mean? But I started playing Arc Raiders in like January, February. And, 150 hours or so into the game, you start getting ensconced in the kind of minimalist soundtrack that they have. Yeah. And I was like, God, dude, I could do some of these. And I'm kind of digging these tracks. So I've got a 12-track album that's semi-final mastered right now. And I have to go on like another long walk or take it with me to the gym or just in the car or whatever, listen to it on a couple different ways. The upside to that style is that the minimalism in it and the patch selection, some of it kind of just blends and it sits in the background. There's a little like momentum and rhythmic parts to it and stuff, and very, very low key. And I've done a couple tracks. I shared it with my buddy Tom, and he was like, dude, he's like, the first couple responses he's had are really good. But my objectivity, go on, because I just think to myself, I'm like, okay, am I rehashing something I did before? Is it similar to this other thing? I guess that doesn't matter, because
it doesn't matter. No,
you really can revisit themes, right? And I'm sure you do in your work
A lot.
often, right? And the idea is like, okay, maybe the first time you played around with this theme, it got you warmed up to it. And then the real banger use of the theme comes down the line, maybe 2, even 3 songs later. And it's all, I mean, they're always different, but there's like, we always put our DNA into things and it's just,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's curious to me because I'll look back at the first horror album I released, and then I look back at this 25-song compilation I released in June last year, and they're surprisingly and significantly different from each other, you know? And I just didn't think that was possible, but when you do like a look back and compare stuff that you did 4 years ago to something you did 6 months ago, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm growing. Yeah, I am doing something different. But in the moment when you're writing something, it doesn't always feel that way, right?
But it's such a weird thing as well, because like if you look at the big bands, let's take Metallica, for example, and it's like you're in the like 2005 or whenever Saint Anger released, and you're in the mid hype of like all the old albums, and they're like growing exponentially huge. And then they release something that's off from what they usually sound like, and people fucking hate it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard to like explore things, especially when you have built something out of a particular style.
Right.
Because then you're just that guy. You're just the guy who makes songs like that.
Right.
And if you try something else, then it's kind of like rebuilding your entire brand. And like, it's something we can do when you're an established musician and you make the money and like you have a good life and you feel like, okay, I want to do something else. It's like when Post Malone went from R&B to like singer-songwriter guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
He can do it because like he built a very good brand, but for us it's different. So once you have the financial freedom to like basically don't do anything, then
you can do anything.
You can do anything. And that's how we refill our creative like reserves, I guess.
Yeah. But I think there's an opportunity there as a royalty-free composer that you do have that wild card, right? People may know you for a subset of genre or genres in your catalog. Somebody comes to you for meditation music. Somebody comes to you for, you know, Celtic metal. Somebody comes to you for some broad-based horror or whatever.
Yeah.
But then expand into the rest of your catalog, understanding that this isn't all you're about.
Right.
You can express yourself in a number of different genres and a number of different feelings. And I think that was the big appeal for me to start down this road of royalty-free too. It's not only the paywall, you know, removal and heavy usage and commitment to long-term growth and revenue potential through that process. But I mean, that was all appealing to me. But it was also, I get to write what I want.
Yeah.
You know, if I got stuck in like the horror genre the whole time, even though I'm good at it, eventually I'd be like, I'm running out of things to say. You know,
right?
And
you're a storyteller, basically.
Yeah, and sometimes the story's chill and lo-fi. Sometimes the story's epic and orchestral. Sometimes it's video game inspired, you know? And all things in between. So I think as far as music creation and composition go, this is probably the most freeing decision I ever made.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, because we can do it and we're free to do it. So
yeah,
it's relieving in some sense. But at the same time, I think the point I'm at right now is it's kind of difficult because I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of like, so I explained the situation to I had like a long conversation with ChatGPT about this, and just like how I miss the eagerness to go down into the studio and just experiment with things until I maybe had a decent track that I could export. And like all this hype around composing that I haven't felt for a long time, which is fine because it's a job now, let's face it. But he said that it was most likely like boredom from success, which is apparently a very valid thing. Like when you have achieved a goal that you worked for like several decades and you achieve it and you stay there for a while without like achieving more, you've kind of like reached the end game of what your dream was, even though it's like for me, that was not very ambitious. My dream was to like be free to compose music and have an income every month. That was my dream. I mean, it was not more than that. Simple dream. And
how long did it take? How long did that take? A better part of a decade, you think?
yeah, working for it?
Yeah.
15 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a long run. And when you achieve it, you kind of like, because you fight so hard for this dream that like once you achieve it, you run out of dreams because you haven't dreamt about anything other than that one thing for so long that you kind of forget what the next step is.
Yeah, you're myopic to that goal, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of like, boom, tunnel vision. This is
right.
And to your credit, that's how you get to it, right?
Yeah.
You focus on it.
Yeah. For a long time.
Lack of, like, you have your distractions, but you always come back to that line and find your way back to the path so you can actually get the thing done.
And it's like once you see like gradually small amount of money keeps coming in and like you are like progressing in your career and your life is improving, you get a better car, you get a better place to live, and you get better equipment. And then at some point it's like, okay, I have all the things that I have ever dreamt of now. So I'm enjoying it for a while and then it gets kind of boring. So it's like a boredom from success. I feel that that's a very, very good way of putting it. It's like cheating in a video game, kind of.
Yeah.
Because you get to the end game and you have some fun, you have all the money, you have all the gear, and you enjoy it for a while, and then it gets kind of boring. But at least I know what it is. And it's not that I hate writing music now. It's just like I remember the hype and the eagerness to do it. And I kind of want that back. So my current work is like finding that passion again, which I'm sure everyone who has ever made anything has felt at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. And that's why I love so much when people are actually ordering music, because then I don't have to think, because they are telling me what to do. And as an independent like worker, that's a luxury.
Yeah.
Like getting told what to do.
Well, yeah, you need some sense of urgency in order to move forward with the next piece or the next project.
Yeah. It's not the first idea and then execute and then result, because like sometimes idea is the hardest part.
Right.
Where you actually have to figure out what to do and then do it. So when people are ordering music, they tell me what to do. So the idea is already done. And I can just execute and have results.
Right. Well, I think I fell into the same situation that you're experiencing as well late November last year, because that 1,000-song milestone was huge, right? Yeah. I'd been working towards that for 4.5 years, finally hit it, was determined to hit it last year, and promised myself, you will take a breather, you will sit back and find your calm and focus on some other things. You need to have other experiences to bring them back to the studio. We talk about this in the past. Having experience and returning to the studio is like, I don't know, dusting off the canvas and bringing in a new set of paints. It just reinvigorates you. It brings new ideas to the table, the sonic canvas, if you will. And it went a little longer than I anticipated.
Yeah.
You know, I figured in January, early February, I would get inspired. And I have tools for that, by the way, that can help solve the problem of being unmotivated and everything else. But I kind of just didn't reinforce that, because there's a part inside me that said, not yet. Like, you've put a reserve of albums to release to be able to use and download. Right.
Yep.
Everything was published, but actually getting access to the files, I delayed for a little bit for a number of reasons, to continue to show a progressive stance in socials that I'm releasing other tracks and everything else. I still have one more album and 3 singles to release, and that'll give me time to come up with 2 or 3 albums this month to release and chase that. And now it's that consistency, you know what I mean? And I was glad I did that last year, because it made me feel productive even when I wasn't. Right.
Yeah.
But one thing I do, and I think we've talked about this before, but it may help to remind you about it, is discipline over inspiration when it comes to sitting in the studio and doing a Monday, Friday thing where I try to put down 4 or 5 ideas each day. If I get 2 or more, great. Sometimes I get 5 or more, sometimes it's no more than a melody that I'm just thinking about. I'm playing around with VSTs. That's the best thing you can do is sit down with all your software and be like, oh, I haven't touched this one in a while.
Yeah.
Let's audition a bunch of patches and see if something inspires me, you know? That's always a great way to get back into things, because I find myself, I'm like, I'll use a different piece of software I haven't used in a long time, and that'll imbue some new feeling and new sound. And that may actually motivate a whole batch of things that I never thought of doing.
True.
Right. But to your point, the other thing I've been focused on during this hiatus too is reaching out to and acquiring new people to be on this podcast, specifically people I've been interacting with over the last few years, or people that are interesting to me, and just reaching out and seeing if they have an interest in being on the podcast and just chatting about both of our crafts, whatever they mean, even if they're not entirely congruent. Maybe they're a content creator, but they use music in their stuff. And I'm just genuinely curious about what they do and what their path is. And that's been going really well. I've had a number of people with a positive response and wanting to be on there. I actually had somebody reach out to me and want to be on the podcast. So I'm like, oh, okay, this has shifted to a different level for me. Right. Yeah. So there's the consistency is bearing fruit in that regards, you know? So that's very interesting. But to that point, all those people are an opportunity to find a value add in their content or whatever they're making. And not always is it a marriage of, hey, I've got this music and you could use it in your stuff, blah, blah, if it makes sense, right? But 9 times out of 10, it does anyway, because it would just somehow you find the right people and you're like, yeah, I would love to explore a collaboration, that kind of thing. So building those kind of relationships over the next couple of years. And I knew administratively wise, hitting this number of tracks, I needed to get an idea of how to promote and move forward so that the songs that there's exposure to the song. So a lot of my content is about just reminding and sharing with my community and all the followers, and then through advertising, getting that reach a little further.
Yeah.
Website.
Let's face it. You don't need more.
Yeah. I mean, I could stop right there with the tracks, and I could just promote those tracks and probably do great, but I still have something to say. So until I don't, I'll continue to write. And like this year, I think I don't have as an ambitious goal numerically with tracks this year. I'm actually pulling back a little bit, maybe 100 to 150. I know that still sounds ridiculous, right? Like that's still like one every other or every third day. But I'm also thinking about some things that have a little more simplistic element to it as well. I'm exploring stuff in these genres, like as far as meditation is concerned, like jumping into those kind of frequencies.
Yeah.
The healing frequencies, Reiki focused, meditation focused, all that kind of thing, kind of pulling back and doing some exploration of the vibes that those cause and just playing around with it. I've done meditation music, but I haven't focused on the actual vibration.
No, neither have I.
And I just think it's kind of fascinating. I read this first book last fall. My friend Olivia suggested it, and she said that I'd probably find it fascinating because I'm not only interested in that stuff, I intellectualize like the mechanics of it, like the back end mechanics of it. And it spoke to me, you know? So I think you need to find the things that inspire you, the things that give you act on your highest excitement, right? Like, and it may just be sitting there calmly, you're getting a therapeutic massage, or you're freaking, zoning out to meditate, or you're out in nature or something, just waiting for spring to fully sprung,
Yeah.
And then suddenly your brain just feels this urge to do something, right? Sometimes that works.
It does. I mean, I think because I really got burned out last year when I release a song every Friday, because like forced creativity for me it's a plague. So like I had all this like ideas and creativity build up from like since I was a kid up until I started making music, and then I just pumped out like all the stuff that was in my extremely full head. my creative fuel tank was overloaded for so many years that I listened to the songs that, like, the first songs I've ever made, not even published, just made, because that was fun enough. It's just like, even though the sound is absolutely dog shit, then I can just hear like the joy of making it, and it was so creative, and it was like so weird and like fun, and I just want to get back to that guy who did that, just making like stuff straight from your head, and the songs, like, they don't make any sense whatsoever, and it's probably horrible for royalty for music, but it's a good listen. So I think after last year and after my long break, that not only do I need to find inspiration again, I need to figure out how to find inspiration again. And that's a whole another, that's a weird step.
Yeah. Because you can't get the same inspiration that you got in the beginning, though. I think that's where we might misstep, because we're different people now, right? So the inspiration has to come from a different place, and it comes from this stage of having produced a large body of work, and you're always comparing yourself. We're always comparing ourselves, or sometimes comparing ourselves to others, depending upon how healthy we are about that. Comparisons to thief the joy, and we could literally say like, oh, I'm doing great, but I'm no John Williams. Well, then you're always going to be upset with yourself.
Yeah.
Because that aspiration died in my teens.
Yeah.
When I didn't go to music school for college, and I didn't go out to Hollywood and do all the things to become, world famous composer like that.
Right.
This path more fits my personality. This path screams, it's at my own leisure. It's at my own determination. I don't have studio breathing down my neck telling me I need to have ABC,
right.
All that stuff. I don't think I could ever thrive in that. That's not, that would turn it into such a corporate, mechanical, businessy job.
Yeah.
That I don't think the things that come out of me would be anywhere near as good as they do.
Right.
But that being said, also, you end up comparing your work to your full body of work. And I don't think that's fair. And I'll tell you why I feel this way. What I'm creating and what I'm channeling at any given moment is a reflection of whatever the hell's happening in that moment in time. And that's what should be celebrated. Not, is it any good compared to this or whatever? Like, it says something different. It's a different story. Maybe it's not as intense. Maybe it's chill. Maybe it's not complex. Maybe it doesn't show the full range of my musical ability, but who cares?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Who cares?
Big time.
There's a couple of tracks on the Arc Raiders thing, full, spoiler alert. It's one patch. I used like 2 or 3 different ways and layered it together in a way to create the mood. And it does it perfectly. It does it perfectly. And there's a part of the back of my brain that's like, it's not complicated enough. You're a fraud. That whole freaking, that stupid thing that's talking in the back of your head. I'm like, no, it does sonically what it needs to do. Why complicate it? It doesn't need more notes. The end,
Yeah. We're terrible to ourselves. But that's just, I think that's the way it is, especially when we have a very broad spectrum of knowledge when it comes to music, because we're basically just music machines making whatever people want and whatever we want and everything. So it's just that, like, I know that my technical skills are so much better now, but my creativeness was so much better in the past. So I can listen to old song and think like, fuck, why did I make that? Why did I use that idea when I had no knowledge about composing whatsoever?
And let me ask you about that track. Is it well used? Is it heavily used?
No, I don't think it was ever used, or maybe not even published.
Oh,
it
no
might
kidding.
not even be out there.
Yeah.
But
what about reworking that stuff?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. It's like, I'm going to load up a super old project. I don't have the oldest ones, unfortunately, but I have some pretty old ones that sound pretty bad. And I'm just going to load them up and just close out all the errors, because like 95% of those instruments are no longer on my computer.
Right.
So I just have the MIDI and I know what to put there, and I'll make them better. So that's what I plan to do. And I do that by just listening to my old catalog in the car and just remember the title, and I play it and I remember the song, and I think like, okay, this is pretty good. So hopefully I have a project file somewhere and we'll see.
Nice. Yeah,
That's the future.
I'm thinking about some of the technical improvements this year. It almost feels like that 1000 was this massive mesa plateau. And it's like, okay, here's a reassessment time.
Yeah.
Okay, what have we done? Go back and listen to a bunch of the stuff that we've done. Think about what you want to do in the future. And also think about the mix and everything. I mean, my mixes have gotten better over the years, but I haven't really gone in and used any educational resources to try to like hone that, you know? So I want to look into that this year. Even if it's a mild improvement, it's an improvement nonetheless.
Yeah.
I've started to do EQ isolations on some of the tracks where maybe I use the same patch more than once, and sonically it's going to be the same. You're going to have phasing with that. So I'll isolate like the low end for this because I want the rhythmic section of it to do the thing, and it's lower notes anyway. And then the high end, push it with a low pass filter and just be like, let's focus on these. On this sonic area of it and stuff too. Simple things that can take some of the mud out of the mix.
Yeah.
But I don't know like specifics, like this hertz range will create all these kind of problems, like that kind of isolated technicality. I never got into it that deep. And I don't think I'm going to eat like on a large scale either. But I think having 1,000-foot cursory understanding of how to fix a problem in the mastering process, especially on a project that I'm like, dude, I'm like 95% that this is done. But when I listen to it in the car on my earbuds or something, there's just something that's not cutting through. And I just want to fix that one little thing. Yeah. So that's something I'm going to focus on this year. I'm also going to focus a little bit on structure, even though technically from a royalty-free perspective, A-B section is pretty much the standard. There shouldn't be a lot of variance in the structure of a song. Like it doesn't need, intro, verse, bridge, chorus, solo, like traditional music. In fact, it probably won't get used as much because there's too much going on, right? It's too much variation. Yeah.
That's this guy.
So there's a part of me that gets stuck in that A-B outro feeling and build feeling.
Wait, are you going to do more of that or less of that?
I'm going to vary it a little bit. Like my standard construction usually has a softer opening and a build, and then in the middle to the end is where like the heavy construction happens, and like the real, like if you can get there, it's really fucking good, you know? Like, but sometimes when somebody's looking for music, they want to hear that out of the gate. So I'm going to start moving that around so that yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like my best part in the song is always the last part.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like
same.
A, B, C, D, C, A, B, F.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, the last part is just like totally the best part of the song. And I don't think people ever hear it.
Yeah. Well, we're building towards a crescendo, right? The whole idea is like you said earlier, we're telling a story.
But it might be a subtle build, so people don't know unless they like watch the audiograph or whatever it's called.
Right.
And see that at the end, it just explodes. And I don't think people do that.
Yeah.
Because most people are just looking for music, so they're going to listen to the first and then maybe jump out to the middle of the song and choose whether they're going to use it or find another one.
Well, some of the music managers or the editors that use my stuff have told me they scrub. So I'm glad I did that on my website where people can see the breaks in the audio, and they go in there and they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can see where this kicks off here, and there's a drop or there's a quiet section and everything. But that's an idea, and even as I'm talking to you about it, I'm kind of clarifying an idea for myself going forward this year. I'll probably get the volume of music because I'll make variants of the tracks and where they start. Mm-hmm. And how intense they are, or if it includes extra notes or not, that kind of thing. There's a feeling where people want all the stems so they can decide what's in there or what isn't. I feel like oftentimes it's, this works as a great background bed if you don't have the drums in there and the percussion. Mm-hmm. So I'll get advice from Tom or whoever I share the music with and be like, it would be great. This is a great tune. I can hear this working without the percussion, or I can hear this without the lead. And I'm like, great. I'll make multiple versions of it, because instead of somebody coming and asking, because I mean, how often does somebody listen to something or like, it's just not right, and they move on, as opposed to, oh, there's a version that doesn't have that in it, I'll just grab that.
Yeah.
You know? So I think more of that, more of here's one that builds, and here's one that just hits it right out of the gate. Like that's going to be another version of things this year as well, I think, because it feels like that's a value that's needed or desired. So
absolutely.
So
just by a few, but enough to matter. So I usually do that on my Patreon. I just write at the end of a post that if you need any changes to the song, if you want that part isolated and looped or whatever, if you want the stems, just comment that and I'll do it. So I stopped doing it for every song because it's just like,
it's laborious.
It's so boring. It's also a very time-consuming process. And if you're doing it for no one, then I don't see the point, because when I'm done with the track, I'm done with the track. Yeah. Export, bounce, publish, move on in life.
Absolutely.
But I'm happy to make any changes that people ask for.
Yeah.
Because then I know it will be used, and life is short.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, yeah. Telling me, man. It's I feel like I just finished this 1,000 capstone, and it's now 6 months behind me, and I'm like, oh, or almost like 4 or 5, and I'm just like, it's time to get back in the saddle and do stuff. And I posted a blog post a month ago, back in the saddle, and it's like, shit, that was a month ago. I gotta post another blog post, man. Like, I've been busy with all this other stuff. Well, granted, it's tax season here, and
Same.
I've been doing the frequency distribution conversion, so it's been occupying a bunch of my time, and that's done 100% for me. So now I went through the whole process of depublishing on my other streaming thing. Frequency is now close to 3x on the DSPs that it publishes to, which I'm very excited about. There's stuff in there I've never known about or explored. I'm sure you had a hand in that, in a couple of them. Or is that something they had?
There are so many new DSPs now since I joined, so I don't really get notified when they go onto a new platform.
Okay.
And I don't even know what platform they are on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch, like it ingests, they ingest into Canva now.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty good, because I know Canva.
Yeah. There's one I noticed I started getting some revenue from called NetEase, and they're, I believe, I haven't dug into it enough yet, but they're a software developer, like a gaming developer or distributor based in China. And I saw some, like, significant for me, considering I've only been into the revenue, like royalty collection for 2.5 years. And I'm like, I'm getting some traction over there. So clearly my tracks are being used on that platform, in those games, all that stuff, and stuff's starting to pop up even on IMDb for me, of people using stuff in games and everything. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because they're very eager to get on IMDb, and they need a composer on that list. So it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. When that
you don't even have to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, when that starts expanding and there's projects you're not even aware of, you're like, oh, wow. Well, I wonder what that's all about. And I'm into I'm on podcasts and stuff I never knew about, and all that.
Yeah, that's what motivates me the most. It's just like figuring out that I've been used somewhere by surprise. Like scrolling reels on Instagram and then hearing my music. That's like peak happiness for me.
Yeah. Yes. Stumbling upon yourself in random content where you're just like, whoa, hey, that was a cool use of that.
That's familiar.
Yeah. YouTube is like that. When I go out and do gratitude and post on other people's channels and content and stuff and see how they use it, man, some of the creative aspects and use of some of the tracks, like, never in a million years would I have imagined using this track for this content. And then I watch it and I'm like, yeah, I'm putting that in that folder on my YouTube channel, because I'm like, that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then cross promoting it and everything, and commenting and liking it. I mean, I've never had pushback with that. People want their stuff to be engaged, you know?
Obviously. That's.
And then they're flabbergasted that the composer actually came
Yeah.
by and said hello,
Yeah.
you know, like, what? Hey man, cool, I love your stuff, blah blah. And it's like, thank you, you know, it's without you, it doesn't get propagated, you know?
And it's like they probably don't even know our names.
Right.
So we need like our YouTube channel or the channel we're posting for needs to include wherever they got the music from. If not, it's just some guy named Tim Cooling
Yeah.
commenting,
Luckily,
thanks for using my music. What?
luckily my username is my brand.
Yeah.
So
same. Now it is.
I've simplified things on all, like even on Reddit, that's my name.
Yeah.
And that's a way of indirectly promoting myself because I know the sensitivities of that platform. So if I engage somebody that has a question, even unrelated to music, they see my name and understand that, that's who you are. So even that platform, like you have to be really conscientious about how you answer a question, the tone you use, the supportiveness of it and everything else. Not that I wouldn't, but like even more so on that platform because you're
People on Reddit are dangerous.
Yeah. You have to represent the band well.
Yeah.
You have to represent a brand really well. So, but so far, knock on wood, the experience I've had on there karmically, if you will, has been positive and really kind of neat.
Maybe that's something for my employee to do.
Yeah. I'm looking actually into advertising on there. So,
but I mean the commenting on videos where the music is used.
Yeah.
Because I'm way too lazy to like go through like hundreds of videos. If a big video has used my music, of course, I gladly take time to thank them for it.
I'm not so, because I have a little bit longer of a journey than you, obviously. You've been doing this longer than me. I don't isolate to, like on the YouTube platform. I don't discriminate based on follower count, engagement, blah, blah, blah. There's channels that have 3 subscribers that I jump in and I'm like, this is super cool content, dude. Thanks for using my music, blah, blah. And then I've got people that have 1 million plus and I'll do the same. I'll treat them the same way.
Yeah.
And because you just never know. You never know. Number one, I want to encourage somebody's creativity. I want to encourage the collaborative work, but also you never know. You never know if that guy's like the next, pseudo Mr. Beast or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
And
YouTube is weird.
Yeah. And maybe they just needed that nudge. And maybe you're just helping somebody understand, like, dude, do it. Do what you're doing. Like, it might even be something I'm totally into, but I'm like, this is really interesting and creative. Keep going, man. And thanks for using my tunes.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I've found in my history, those little nudges or those little reassurances, I'll have like existential crises several times throughout the years. Like, I'm sure like this is typical composer, everybody, or typical artist in general. You'll just be sitting on your couch. You're like, what the fuck am I doing this for? Like I haven't felt like I had any engagement in the last couple of weeks, blah, blah, blah. And then you get that email or that PayPal randomly. And somebody just like, I have to reach out to you. I've been enjoying your music for 2 years, blah, blah. And it's this like beautiful email.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Yeah. That you're just like,
dude, like
this is awesome.
Like a YouTube comment has resulted in like a 12-song album for me.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that's all it takes. Like, someone appreciating what you do might be enough to just force like 2-3 weeks of like intense like motivation.
Yeah. It is the ultimate energy surge for me.
Yeah.
And it happens more often than not when you least expect it. And it's specifically when you do things without the expectation of something coming back.
Oh, yeah.
It's a weird intentional thing that has to be authentic, has to be true, that you're not expecting something for your effort. You're doing it because you love it and you hope it resonates with people, but whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just have to be in that place more often is the goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes I catch myself in not appreciating those emails. And that's borderline fucking depression, dude. It's like when you get an email, you get a long email, someone's saying like, this song just changed my life. And you're like, okay, cool. And then you just think about how you just reacted to such a game-changing, fantastic message from a random random person
Yeah.
on the other side of the world, and you just think like, what the fuck? What kind of horrible person am I now?
Well, I would defend your reaction with this little nugget. Think about the context in which you read it, right?
Yeah.
Was it January? Was the weather miserable, right? Had you not eaten in several hours?
Yeah,
and
I know.
and your blood sugar's low, right?
Probably a lot of those things.
Yeah, I have to constantly remind myself of that, Alex, because oftentimes, not like 80 to 90% of the time, my negative attitude or reaction to things is usually just, am I rested? Did I eat?
Yeah.
You know, did I not
just
have enough human
don't feel
interaction
great.
today or this week? You know, that kind of thing. You know, am I bored? You know, just like this stupid emotional state clouding my interpretation of this.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But I think it's just human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if someone tells you that you're great enough times, you just brush it off somehow at some point. And I think that's like all the major, big, huge artists in the world, like fucking Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber or those people who just fill arenas all over the world. I don't think they even like acknowledge that the people in the front row is having the time of their lives.
Right.
To them, I think it's just like crowd. It's just crowd. Screaming crowd. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, I'm defending them on that because I think it's just human.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, plus, we're also, the context of an artist at that level is different than, say, an artist that plays small venue rooms where there's 40 to 50 people in it. And you can look around the room and have an eye contact with everybody during the whole show. And that's a completely different experience than a 50,000, 100,000 person arena where you can't connect on a personal level with any of those people. And there's a corporate machine behind you forcing this large scale performance and revenue machine down here, which I think gives it a different vibe. You know what I mean? Like it's a completely different experience. Yeah. Completely different experience.
And obviously it also has a lot to do with the fact that it's just text on the screen. So if a person came up to me in real life and told me the exact same thing, I would, of course, in every instance be super happy about it.
Yeah.
But it's just like when you receive, let's say you receive like 20 emails a week with people just telling you how great you are, then I'm not saying that's me at all, but I get a few from people who just love the stuff that I do, but I don't know them. And I mean, I try to be appreciative because like it's great they took the time to write this and that's fantastic, but at some point it's just like it's very dehumanized in a way.
Right because
that's not how we are meant to be praised.
No, and it's not a natural way of communicating. Right. It's something we've acquired through technology.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's different. You're right. It is different. It is different. I mean, for a while there, I was following and going to small venue comedian, comedy shows here in Tampa, and I met a couple comedians that were like mid-tier. You know what I mean? They didn't sell out arenas or anything crazy like that, but they had quite the following online. They had a couple Netflix specials, that kind of thing. And I always wanted, like, I kind of got into this groove because this venue was specific in that it was, I mean, I'm talking real, like 150, 180 seats, maybe. Yeah. And it's like, they serve food, drinks and stuff like that. And there's like a minimum or whatever. And afterwards, as you leave, a couple of their crew are sitting there and you can do meet and greets and like buy some of their merch and stuff like that and actually sit there and talk to them for a minute. Yeah. And most of them are really cool, but you realize like they're just people too, man. And you have this perception of who they are based on their work, but that's just their work. Like they have a life outside of this and other aspirations, and they have worries, and they have, they go up and they try out some new material, and specifically at this venue, they use it as a way to test out new material because it's small scale. They can really feel the room if it resonates or doesn't. Yeah. And then they kind of hone the delivery, they hone the timing and everything. And to see that part of the craft is amazing because once you see something on Netflix or whatever, it's so like refined at that point. Like they've spent a year on that 60-minute show, right? And But to see it in the beginning when they were flubbing over a couple things that didn't hit, like we laughed at that. We laughed at the fact it didn't hit. He's like, oh, fuck this one. It doesn't work, you know, and threw it on the ground, you know. I'm like, that's awesome. Like that sense of humility, you know, but like that takes balls.
Yeah.
It takes,
it's like, it's fucking human, and like human is funny.
Yeah.
Like people being people, that is hilarious.
So I think that was the draw of it, man. It was like, it's like small venue music or small venue, any kind of art, like a small art show where somebody got into painting 5 years ago and is really pretty decent at oils. Not, you know, masters good, but you look at it and you're like, man, this is some great work. Like, I don't care for the composition here or whatever, but like, you know, who the fuck am I? That's just my interpretation. But you get to see the person and meet them in person and talk to them. Like, what inspired you in this piece? Like, how often do you get to have that conversation? With an end artist?
I would choose small venue anytime. Over big venue. I don't really like going to big concerts because, like, even though the sound is better and you're actually seeing the person or people or band or whatever, it's just like I might as well watch it on Netflix because it's not personal enough for me.
Right. And a big enough venue, it's loud. Honestly, I'm at an age where
practical.
But it's just, dude, I can't be too close because like now I'm not gonna be able to hear it in its pure form because I'm gonna have freaking earplugs in, so I don't blow out my freaking hearing. And I'm like, there's nothing like a live show. There really isn't. It's just that energy, the crowd energy and everything. It's just this collective consciousness grooving on the same thing that everybody else is, you know? Tool shows were like that. Tool and like Perfect Circle shows were like that. You just kind of, wow, it's pretty neat. Their other thing, Pussifer, I like the first couple albums. I don't know why I'm going on this tangent, but let's go with it. I like the first couple albums. They just released a new one recently. I got to give it another chance.
That's Maynard's weirdest band.
Yeah, I don't understand the new album.
But I think that's the point.
Yeah, because there was one just before it that started to deviate more, and I'm like, I don't get this one either. But I also have a respect that like you're doing something, and he also reached a point where like, fuck it, I can just go in their studio and record this and do whatever the hell I want, and if nobody likes it,
band for the weird shit.
People come to the shows.
Weird,
people dig it. You know,
I would, if it wasn't a small venue, I would come. And let's face it, Pussifer would probably be the small venue band.
Although they are coming to Florida, and I think Tool, A Perfect Circle, and Pussifer are playing. So, first of all, that's insane to me because he has to sing all three of them. You know, I don't know if they're playing all the same day or what the hell the deal is, but he's an interesting character too because he's not your typical frontman. When I've gone to see A Perfect Circle shows, he treats himself like a lesser instrument and stays back in the back of the stage and de-emphasizes the vocals because the vocalist often comes. I mean, think David Lee Roth, man. That dude was like, "I'm the freaking band," you know, and it's like, you know,
it's the frontman vocalist.
The
stigma.
Yeah. And he takes a lesser position, and I always kind of respected that a little bit. I was like, yeah, because it's not. This is a collective effort, not just the lyricist, you know? So, and his are very subdued,
right.
You know, his lyrics are typically very subdued. So it's just interesting stuff, man. But
people just want to tell stories. They want to release some of the creative pressure they have inside. We all do. And that's why we do it, and we hate it, and we love it. But we keep doing it forever and ever and ever.
As long as I have a heartbeat on this planet, dude. It's my fervent desire to continue to make art and to continue to share it with the world. And
it's just the only thing that's fun. Let's face it. It's like everything else is like, meh, it's okay.
I'm going to work in an office and, you know, live somebody else's dream. And
I've done that too.
Yeah. I don't really want to do that anymore.
No.
If I had to, I'd do it, but I don't think I'll have to.
No.
Not if I keep focused.
Yeah. I mean, we have to put some effort into what we're doing at some point. Not today. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. But
I'm telling you, the discipline, the writing discipline, man. You know, if you really feel like you're at an impasse, I highly recommend, even if it's one day a week, where you're just like midweek writing session. where you just sit down and just all I'm doing is exploring patches, coming up with themes, and you don't have to develop them any further than you want to. Like, better way to say that, you don't develop them any further than they allow you to.
Like,
than they allow. Like, I've sat down, started one theme, another one, a little bit more, third one, hour and a half goes by, I have 90% of a song done.
Right.
And I'm like, oh. So those were warm-ups, still not throwaways, but they're good ideas, but this one kicked off. Let's see if I can do another one like that. And then oftentimes there's like a second one. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I think my problem with this is that, or with that tactic, is that I hate more than anything to waste time. So I feel like, but even though you don't really have anything after 30 minutes of just plucking on the piano, then you have still achieved something, I guess. Because you might not even reuse the idea, or you might not continue on the idea ever, but you have learned something because you have experimented. And I think I need to do something like that, but I hate filling up my working titles folder with bullshit. I just want like actual working titles there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to purge soon because there's some things I haven't revisited in 3 or 4 years, which leads me to believe that they were a palette cleansing piece that doesn't need to be developed. And I just have to be certain that it can't be developed anymore. And then I'm just going to put it in a graveyard that still is going to exist, but it's not going to be an active thing that I come and revisit.
Right.
But also, if that tactic doesn't work, slightly framing it differently. So instead of sitting down and saying, I'm just going to create ideas, sit down and explore patches and decide if you're going to favorite certain patches because of the way they sound, right? So I did that with some old software instruments I hadn't touched in like 2 or 3 years. And I was like, I don't think I've auditioned all these patches ever. And like some of them have like 400 or 500 patches that came with the thing.
Dude, 98% of all the patches I have never heard.
Yeah. So
I haven't played a single note on them.
That act and framing it that way was a way that inspired me because I'd come across a patch. I'm like, that feels like it would be a good way to build tension in a horror piece or something. And then I'll drop an idea down and I'll put it in the idea folder in that genre.
To kind of revisit what you said earlier about like the technical knowledge and EQ and all that stuff, I think we both have kind of the same way that if we load up a patch and it sounds good, like out of the box, it makes it way easier to like get inspired from. Because like some people with extreme technical knowledge in composition will maybe load up a horrible sounding patch, but they realize that they can do something with it regardless. And I think that's the level I want to get to, where you actually you can hear a bad patch and just start thinking like, if I put EQ on it, maybe like a flanger or like whatever to make it sound good and get inspired from that. Because usually it's just me like pressing the C on the keyboard, next patch, and it's just like rubble. It's dog shit, all of them. It's just terrible because most of the patches are bad.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that too is that it may not, especially if the patch is rhythmic or evolves in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't always, that one note hit doesn't always speak to what the patch's capabilities are, right?
Yeah.
I often will go a little bit, like when I fall into that pattern, I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I should slow down a little bit. And then I'll mess with aftertouch. I'll mess with the modulation wheel and see what they programmed into that. I'll use a third-party piece of software to modulate the thing, like Lunacy Audio or Lunacy. I think it's Lunacy. Yeah, Lunacy Audio has something called Beam, and it twists and turns the audio in a patch, and it has all sorts of like particles. It has like reverbs. It has stuff that's specific to drums, and it could take a patch and turn it into something that doesn't sound. It would never sound like it in a million years, right? And you can adjust the level of output for it and stuff too, and you can really just make the patch your own. And that's another way to spice up patches that have gotten stale for you, but you still like the underlying base of it, you know. And it wasn't a very expensive piece of sound, less than $100. So
what is it called?
Lunacy. Yeah, if you want the link, I'll send it to you.
I think
interesting
at some
stuff.
point my library became too big.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue because like you get some money and you spend it on instruments because that's what we do. And at some point, you have like 80,000 different VST instruments on your computer, and it's like once you load up a project, you don't know where to start.
Yeah.
So I've always wanted to do the challenge where I just like find a random patch on a random VST and just, okay, this is what we're using today.
Yeah. That's good content, by the way. That'd be great. That would be fantastic. Are you doing any in the studio stuff now that you have somebody helping you with social media stuff?
Not really.
No,
because he's just right now he's just publishing shorts and reels from existing music.
Okay.
I kind of do want to get back on the like streaming exposure horse, but yeah, I just don't know how to begin. And I need to get out of this fucking lazy ass lifestyle of boredom from success.
Remember what time of year it is too.
Yeah. But it's like
I have this conversation with you the last 3 years in a row.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
So or a similar one. It's not the exact conversation, but you're getting out of your hibernation, you know?
Yeah.
So,
but it's like the only month that is extremely viable for me to get shit done is maybe like mid-September, early October. Because in the summer, I'm just outside. That's all I want to do. I just want to be in the sun and just live. And after like a couple of months, that gets kind of boring. And you're thinking that, oh, it's going to be nice just to be inside again, just do shit in the house. And then that month is like it's the golden period for work for me when you like go back into the house and you enjoy all the technical stuff that you have. And then after a few months of that, you just get fucking depressed.
Well, everything's dead outside.
Yeah. So Christmas is over.
Yeah.
And now we just have to wait, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait for some light again. And yeah, that's the worst time.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, dude. It's like 5 or 6 hours max at some point in the year of
you
light.
just forget about it. You just forget that you need it, I think.
Do you have tanning salons?
Look at this skin. It's like, it is white. And everyone is looking like this, by the way.
Do you have like UV therapies and stuff like that?
We do have like daylight lamps and stuff like that. We do have tanning salons.
Yeah.
But
which is not the healthiest thing.
Not going to use that. No. But you get these daylight lamps and stuff like that to like imitate sunshine, but they don't work.
Yeah.
I don't think they work. No. Because it's not necessarily, it's not the sun that makes you happy. It's all the stuff you do in the sun.
Sure.
The freedom of the outer world. I should move.
Where would you go?
Someplace sunny.
Yeah.
Maybe
you did mention Florida.
That's way too warm for us.
Oh, yeah?
We would die. We would actually die. If I went to Florida right now, I would probably get like a stroke, skin cancer, and maybe heart attack within a week.
Like Spain, Portugal?
Maybe like Spain, Portugal, southern France, Italy.
Yeah.
Someplace safe. But it's like the culture here is so great. So I think that's why we stay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But like people are nice and it's safe for the most part. Like you can usually go alone in the city at night and there's absolutely no chance of either getting shot, robbed, or stabbed. So it's a very safe place. It's a very convenient place. So I would say it's a good place. The climate is shit.
Yeah. Well, maybe you need a winter place in.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah, in like Portugal or Spain or like you said in Italy.
Fuck off at the first snow and then come back 4 months later. Yeah, one day. I'm not that rich, so let's see.
Well, it could always just be holiday, right?
Yeah, I mean we could, but like if I want to go, if I go somewhere, I want my stuff there as well.
Right.
I have a lot of stuff that's fun.
Yeah.
So we used to it's very common to go to these like Southern European places in the summer and just stay there for 2-3 weeks and just stay in the sun at the beach, stuff like that. But that's also extremely boring. So I need my stuff.
Yeah.
My materials.
Yeah. Once you're done with sun exposure, you want to go back to your hobbies and the things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Right? Oh. Well, we'll have to be accountable with each other because clearly we both went on mild hiatus here, and we need a good kick in the ass. So
Mild?
yeah.
Well,
No?
speak for yourself. Mine was not mild. Mine was long,
Yeah.
long.
I'll help motivate you. I'll keep pinging
Thank you.
on Discord, and we'll do this more frequently this year, which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons I pinged you. I'm like, Alex always makes me accountable. He doesn't realize it, but there's a subconscious thing that happens talking to a fellow composer that's still actively composing, and just like, oh yeah.
And it did motivate me, actually, because I'm not planning to leave this room when we hang up.
Good.
Now.
All right, awesome. Mission accomplished.
Huh. See, finding how to get inspired, that is the people. Never think it was people.
Well, that's awesome. Well, dude, it's cool catching up with you.
Likewise.
Love having you on the show, and we'll talk real soon, and make sure that we continue this journey in a forward manner and not stay stagnant.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Got it, bud.